The US State Department has announced new measures in response to China's crackdown in Hong Kong. It's already imposed sanctions against 10 people, including Hong Kong's leader, Carrie Lam. Now, Washington has warned of sanctions against global financial institutions doing business with them. The President of the European Council has said that it is in the interest of both sides to have a post-Brexit agreement in place before the end of the year. But he said it couldn't be at any price. The UK's Prime Minister Boris Johnson had issued a deadline of Thursday, but this had been delayed until the European Council summit ends on Friday. A fierce offensive by the Taliban in Helmand has seen fighters reach within 2 kilometres of the centre of the provincial capital, Lashkargah. It's the most significant attack by the insurgents against Afghan government forces since peace talks began in Qatar a month ago. The conflict has forced an estimated 35,000 civilians to flee their homes in Helmand.
Police in Thailand move in to disperse pro-democracy protesters gathered around Government House in the capital. The riot police in Thailand have clashed with a large group of anti-government protesters in Bangkok. They moved in to clear the streets shortly after authorities issued an emergency decree banning all gatherings of more than 5 people. Lines of police with riot shields quickly drove people back and cleared the area around Government House. Thousands have been camping overnight after another day of widespread demonstrations against the King and the Prime Minister. At least 2 protest leaders have now been arrested. The emergency decree accused the protesters of inciting chaos and threatening national security, specifically mentioning this moment on Wednesday when the royal motorcade carrying the Queen was surrounded. But on Wednesday night, before police moved in, things had been much more peaceful, with a large group listening to speeches and music. They're calling for reforms to the monarchy and for the Prime Minister to stand down. France and Germany announced new restrictions, including curfews, to try to stop the spread of coronavirus. The First Lady reveals that 14-year-old Barron Trump contracted Covid-19 but suffered no symptoms. Could grey power be the X factor in the presidential election? We report from a retiring but not exactly shy battleground in Florida.
How many of you just want this election to be over?
Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen have freed 2 American captives in what is reported was a swap involving a number of militants. The White House has welcomed the release of Sandra Lally and Mikhail Gidada. The remains of a 3rd American captive, Bilal Fatin, were also repatriated. 2 Catholic priests have gone on trial in the Vatican. It's the first time the city-state has prosecuted allegations of sexual abuse. Gabriele Martinelli is accused of sexually assaulting an altar boy. Enrico Radice is charged with covering up the alleged assault. Neither man has submitted a plea or commented on the case so far.